Hi, this is Dr. Randy Hurst. I'm a pretty well retired psychologist, but I've had this idea of bringing videos that make sense. Hence, I'm calling them Make Sense Psychology Education videos. I hope you're going to like them. This first one is just an introduction to have you understand what this is about, where I'm going, and give an initial example of something that I've used for many years. So the issue, to start, have you had problems with anxiety, certain kinds of depression? We'll talk about what kinds fit this or not. Out of control appetites. So the anxiety is about fear things. The appetites are about things that we work toward or go toward. For example, eating. For some people, spending, gambling, drinking, drugs, maybe sex, where each of these potentially can become problems in people's lives. So, do any of these kinds of things affect you? That's going to be the focus of these videos. My idea is to help people understand what kinds of problems develop, how they can go from small problems to bigger problems, and how the brain sets up to help these problems develop, as well as maybe help them change, but often hinder change. I mean, one of the difficulties of each of the types of problems that I talked about is that people have difficulty changing them. But my premise and what I've seen work with people, as well as the theory behind it, one of them being is referred to as a sense of coherence. When people have a coherent picture, when they understand the why, they're more able and more willing to get through some of the difficulties of the how to change. Because change is not easy. Anybody who's had any of these kinds of problems knows that the best intentions doesn't always mean good follow-through, long-term follow-through. I'm doing this right after the beginning of the year. I've already seen a drop-off where I work out. A lot of people right in the beginning, weak, but by a month from now, there'll be a lot fewer people at the Y. So my intended audience, like I say, people who have kind of the early stages of the problems with any of those that I mentioned: anxiety, fear-based things, appetite-based things, going for the good stuff, the good food, the spending to get the good stuff, and help them work through, possibly without ever having professional help. At the same time, I just urge anybody, if what you try, if any of this makes sense and you try some of these things and it becomes too uncomfortable, or if the problem is already too severe, get professional help. This is not it's just for information. It's not a substitute for professional help. At the same time, if you try these things and it's just not enough, you can't do it, you don't follow through, it may give you the sense, the impetus to get direct one-to-one type help. It's for people who can tolerate the discomforts, the difficult feelings that can come up in trying to change any of these things. So if it's just too much for you, get help. The other is the importance of recognizing that there is a problem and having the willingness to change. So hopefully when somebody has all of these, they can benefit from these videos. This will not address individual situations. I won't be able to take emails or answer specific questions or about specific situations. If those are asked, I will put them into very general videos. So if you decide to view more of this or any of my other videos, please only do it if you're willing to take full responsibility for anything that comes out of it, and get help if you do need it. So they'll be as non-technical to the extent possible. I won't be doing a lot of jargon, a lot of in-depth psychological theorizing or anything like that. If that's what you want, you'll need to go to some other kind of videos. It focuses on the earlier stages, like I say, of problems that can develop into worse issues. And I'm going to start with some examples in the form of a metaphor that I've used for years that it's very important, I'll talk about this in a second, to understand it's a metaphor. I don't mean this in a literal sense. I refer to this as a monster-making metaphor. And so there is no monster. The monster is our own feelings. The monster is the turmoil inside between maybe what we know and what we feel. But I've particularly used in the past what I refer to as a monster child. Now again, children are not monsters. In fact, as you'll see here in a second, the dilemma is really not the kids. But the reason I like this monster child idea is that before the age of 9 or 10, the inhibiting part of the brain is not really functioning very well. You know, I use the idea of parents saying, "How many times have I told you?" Blah, 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 whatever, you know. Say please, say thank you, be nice to your sister, don't kick the dog, whatever it would be. You can't get angry like that. Those inhibitory parts of the brain aren't really fully functioning. We can teach kids, and they can learn it, and they can use it on command. They can use it with reminders. These are very important things for parents to do, is to help the child slow down enough to know what's the right thing to do, or what I as a parent, you as a parent would do if they follow through with what they're seeing. It takes a fair amount of noticing and attention by the parents and early intervention to catch kids before they do something that's wrong when they feel like it. And I use the example sometimes of my daughter getting upset when she was little. She was only about 5, but a child we were babysitting bit her, and she bit him back. She knew this was not a good thing, but she was so upset because of what he had done. And we happened not to see it. We didn't figure it out until after it had happened. But that's the kind of thing where emotions can just take over, especially at this age. And even by age 9 or 10, when the machinery is in the brain to help inhibit, that doesn't mean that we remember like we should. That might be until kids are in their late teens or into their middle 20s before we really pull together what's okay to do, what's not okay to do. So this monster child, well, let's go back to the having to do with kids. One of the issues is that I would teach parents about why kids do the things they do, why, to understand that their brain isn't fully developed in terms of inhibiting and remembering and organizing, and so parents can be good coaches by noticing. The other thing that happens for kids, especially boys, is that we have to teach them, as parents, we have to teach them what that feeling is, because all they feel is this pent-up urge or surge of emotion that can be to cry, to hide, to fight, to kick, to just scream, to just be cranky. And it's important for us as parents to notice, well, when is this happening? How long could they be hungry? Could they be thirsty? Could they be tired? Do they have to go to the bathroom? All of these things, is there something that hurt them, has made them sad? All of these things can lead to a strong reaction that the kid doesn't know how to define it until we help them make those connections. And even if we help make the connections, because of their young age, if they're before 9, it's real easy for them to lose the connection, to not remember, oh yeah, I'm really tired. I stayed up really late last night, and now I'm really mad at everybody. So parents help make those connections. I did this with my daughter. She's going to hate me. And, you know, I said, I think you're tired. She had been out, stayed overnight with a friend. How late did you guys stay up? You know, I think you're tired. No, I'm not tired. You know, well, you're going to go lay down. Well, I'm not tired. I'm not going to sleep. Well, she was asleep within minutes. Maybe I was tired when she woke up. So I had to check the time. In time, over the years, kids will start to make those connections. But the real key is that we as parents are the ones who are the monster creators in a way, because kids are just being kids. If a child throws a fit, and this is where I really started the monster making metaphor, if a child throws a fit in a store and the parent gives in to the tantrum or the talking loud or the crying, they're rewarding monster behavior. And this, unless a parent really understands this, they can give in at the worst times. If a parent will hold the line, kids can learn, if the parent says no, that the parent's going to follow through and mean no. The parent can set up so that they don't get into the situation ahead of time, or they react better and don't contribute to the monster development, monster behavior development. Again, this is where I say it's not the kid that's the monster. It's monster behavior, monster feelings. And when somebody has anxiety, the fear or the anxiousness, the uncertainty can create its own internal monster that we often deal with by avoidance. If the monster is getting into an alcohol or drug problem, or a spending, credit card problem, the monster is wanting what we want and trying to forget or ignore for that immediate benefit. And so learning how to deal with the monster is the key. So in subsequent videos, I will be describing different kinds of monsters in more detail. And then in more videos than the problem videos, the describing the problem, I'll start focusing on the solutions and how to understand what's going on in the brain, how it's wired in a way that sets up for these. Okay, I'm running out of time. Again, these are for information only. If they evoke too much, or if there's a bigger problem than just watching videos and using some of the suggestions in your own life, get help. But hopefully this can help prevent that, or can set up so that if you do see a therapist, you'll already be 2, 3, 4 steps ahead by what you've already done, what you've already tried, what didn't work, why, help sort through why it didn't work, and how to get on better. Okay, I hope you come back. I will be posting new ones fairly regularly, at least for quite a while.